You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts. But you don't listen anyway. I said, for my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
I can't even believe that this is a movie, but it is. I mean, I suppose I could say that it's nice. It's a nice little gift because, today may have been a slow news day, but it really hasn't been. But The Columnist, sorry, Annie has to rub the microphone. The Columnist is a blue checkmark revenge film where a journalist ends anybody who said mean comments on the internet. Now, I'll say this, okay? First and foremost, it's a horror movie, all right? It doesn't have to be like, it can just be good fun. But this person seems to be portrayed as the good guy for, ending the lives of people who said mean things on the internet. You know that blue check marks are going to love this film. And quite honestly, here we go already. 82% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. This is savagely funny and viscerally unsettling. The Columnist takes the unbridled vitriol of social media and its bloodily over the top conclusion. Let's take a look at some of the amazing reviews from blue checkmarks who would just love to put a some pruning shears in somebody's eye for making fun of them. You could see never better than the humorously expressing quizzicalness through everyday mannerisms. The Columnist, a rare beast, namely a socially conscious contemporary horror film that's actually fun to watch. An excellent black comedy thriller about the price of free speech and its problematic consequences. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. One of the best horror films of the year. This is quite honestly one of the most ridiculous premises. Like, other than Thunder Force, I can't imagine a more ridiculous movie. But I'm not going to be offended by it. It's a horror movie, right? Horror movies have a wide variety of premises, and not all of them are quite that deeply thought out. But you know that journos are loving this. Absolutely loving this. Now, I actually do like dark comedies. What is the one called? The Traveler or something like that, where they're like, him and this woman are like trekking across Europe, but he's actually, I'm trying to think what this. Anyway, that was a funny movie. But let's see what the media is saying. A journalist is advised to not read the comments in the U.S. trailer for a Dutch horror comedy called The Columnist. A new official selection at Fantasia Film Festival and the Telluride Horror Show, Film Movement has unveiled the new trailer for the Dutch horror comedy The Columnist, starring Westworld alum Katja Herbers and directed by I Don't Care. The main character is a journalist who needs to work on her manuscript, but becomes distracted by intimidating and mean comments on social media. Her friends, publicists, and agent encourage her to ignore the comments, but she has determined the only way to commence on her manuscript is to exact bloody revenge on the people who said mean things to her on the internet. Our dispatch by Matt Ciapola highlights the film's flaws, saying, the script is never too keyed on internet culture or the themes that he and the director try to address. It finds a mix of satire and dark comedy in the last 15 minutes, but trying to end on a bang, The Columnist just softens the blow. Well, I think that, ultimately, if we look at the reviews, we got this one, 10 upvotes, 73 downvotes. This one, and by the way, this one has the comments disabled. This one, which has comments enabled, says blue check marks, power trip, the movie. Why can't we have opinions and be nice about it? The woman on a the woman who's literally ending people over comments on the internet. Hey, look, they made a movie out of some teenager's edgy revenge fic. The video has over 200 dislikes earlier today. I wonder where 160 of them all went. Well, they're deleting dislikes, of course. Why can't we have different opinions and be nice about it? Produces movie about ending people for internet comments. Can we have a film where the main character takes revenge on lying, manipulative journalists? I mean, and this on the, on the heels of, hilariously, if we look back at an article from 2017, scientifically, not to make any journalists mad out there, but scientifically, journalists' brains show a lower than average level of executive functioning, according to a new study, which means they have a below average ability to regulate their emotions, suppress bias, solve complex problems, switch between tasks, and show creative and flexible thinking. I don't know anybody who might be surprised by this, but ultimately, this was obvious to me. The study, led by Terrace Swart, a neuroscientist and leadership coach, analyzed 40 journalists from newspapers, magazines, broadcast, and online platforms over 7 months. The participants took part in tests related to their lifestyle, health, and behavior. The results showed that journalists' brains were operating at a lower level than the average population, particularly because of dehydration and the tendency of journalists to self-medicate. 41% of the subjects said that they drank 18 or more units of alcohol per week, which is 4 units above the recommended weekly allowance. Less than 5% drank the recommended amounts of water. However, the interviews conducted in conjunction with the brain profile results, the participants indicated they felt their jobs had a lot of meaning and purpose. They showed a high mental resilience. Swart suggested this gave them an advantage over people in other professions in dealing with work pressure and tight guidelines. Journalists scored lower on executive function, as well as traits mentioned above. Low scores for executive function also mean poor sleep, nutrition, exercise, mindfulness. Many participants reported that they had no time for breaks while working, which is silencing the mind, which is related to the ability to have thoughts without getting distracted by them, or to have a powerful ability to focus. Low scores indicate the opposite, suggesting journalists have a hard time preventing themselves from worrying about the future or regretting the past. Compared with bankers, traders, or salespeople, journalists showed that they were more able to cope with pressure. Traits that make journalism a stressful profession are deadlines. The results, however, showed that journalists were, on average, no more physically stressed than any average person. The blood test showed their levels of cortisol, known as the stress hormone, were mostly normal. So that flies in the face of the whole being a journalist is just really hard, guys. It's like the hardest thing. You just don't know. I have to sit on Twitter all day and look for things to be offended by. Then I have to take those things that offended me and copy paste them into an article and tell everyone why they should be offended. And if they're not offended by them, that they're wrong or part of the problem. The headline conclusion reached is that journalists are undoubtedly subject to a range of pressures and work at home, but the meaning and purpose they attribute to the work contributes to helping them. So what this is really saying is journals are self-important. They're self-congratulatory. They think they're changing the world when in fact they really aren't, and their job is in fact no more stressful than any other job on the market. Who could have foreseen this? I hope you enjoyed this video, though. I don't know if I'm going to be running out to see The Columnist. It might be funny, but I don't think the message it's sending is exactly the right one for today's troubling times on social media. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.